Welcome back to the Smart World Around Us, a series from the Smart-EDU Hub. This is our 47th discussion, and today we are diving headfirst into a massive question at the heart of our connected lives, that constant tug-of-war between privacy and security.
For this explainer, we're digging into the ideas from a really thought-provoking article called Privacy versus Security, Scenarios Over Smart Societies, written by Catalin Vrabi. And just so you know, if you want to read the whole thing for yourself, we've put a link to it right there in the description below.
So, let's kick things off with something you can actually see. This isn't just some abstract concept. Nope, this is a real, gigantic complex out in the Utah desert. It's the NSA's data center, and it was built for one reason and one reason only: to collect and store just unbelievable amounts of data. The article highlights that this was the first of its kind, designed to hold up to a yottabyte. A yottabyte, I mean, that's 1 quadrillion gigabytes. It's a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
And you can bet this thing wasn't cheap. The project cost an estimated $1.5 billion, with a yearly electricity bill of around $40 million. This is not a small-time operation. This shows you the incredible, mind-boggling scale of modern surveillance infrastructure.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. We're going to structure this discussion around the core arguments from the article. We'll start with the real price of all this security, then we'll tackle 3 very common myths, and finally, we'll look at a possible way forward.
So, what is the endgame for a facility like this? Well, the article argues that its purpose is to enable something it calls wholesale surveillance of the whole world.
Now, this is a really important distinction to make. The article makes it clear this isn't about targeting specific bad guys. It's about watching people who are known to be completely innocent. And the legal justification for this? Well, if your data simply passes through the United States, you're legally considered a foreigner, and that means all your personal information is suddenly fair game.
Okay, so whenever these big revelations about surveillance come out, you hear a very common reaction, right? People say, I'm not surprised, or we kind of already knew all this. But the article argues that thinking this way is actually a huge mistake. Why? Because nobody really knew about these specific top-secret programs. Nobody knew about PRISM. These slides, the ones leaked by Edward Snowden, showed the world for the very first time just how directly intelligence agencies were plugging into the data streams of the biggest tech companies on the planet. And this slide, wow, it lays out the timeline perfectly. According to those leaked documents, the PRISM program started pulling data from Microsoft way back in 2007. Then came Yahoo the next year, followed by Google, then Facebook, and finally Apple in 2012. It was this slow, quiet expansion, happening for years right under our noses.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Look at the official response. Every single company that was named in those PRISM documents, Google, Apple, Yahoo, you name it, they all issued these really strong denials. They all said, no way, we do not give the government direct access or some kind of backdoor into our systems.
Okay, so if the leaked documents are real, and the companies are also telling the truth, that leaves us with a pretty crucial and frankly disturbing possibility, that the intelligence agencies deliberately weakened these secure systems without the companies even knowing about it.
The article has a great analogy for this. Think about it like this. Imagine your home security company created a secret master PIN code that could shut off any alarm in any house. They might tell you it's to help catch burglars, but what it really does is make every single one of their customers less safe. The argument here is that this is exactly what happened to our digital security.
All right, let's move on to the next big justification you always hear. This whole idea that all of this surveillance, well, it's just necessary to fight terrorism.
So while fighting terrorism is the official story, the leaked files told a very different one. They showed that the exact same techniques were being used on a much wider range of targets. We're talking allies, foreign citizens, and international groups that had absolutely zero connection to terrorism.
And this slide from the British intelligence agency GCHQ is just a stunning example. It's so casual, just detailing their success in hacking Belgacom. That's a telecom company in Belgium, which, at the time, was a fellow member of the European Union and a close ally. I mean, this was clearly not about fighting terrorism.
The article also brings up this fundamental imbalance of power. You know, it's true that a lot of countries spy on each other, but the reality is that almost every world leader and pretty much all of us use tech services based in the US. How many American officials do you think are using Romanian email services? As the article points out, the answer is basically 0. This surveillance net is incredibly one-sided. This brings us to the most common and maybe the most personal argument of them all.
You know what? I've got nothing to hide, so why should I care about any of this? And, a lot of people genuinely feel this way. The article actually cites comments from everyday folks who truly believe that giving up a bit of privacy is a small, necessary price for national security. They really see it as a tool to catch the bad guys. But then the article hits back with this incredibly powerful statement from a world leader who was personally targeted by this exact kind of surveillance. And here's the crucial point. Privacy isn't about having something to hide. It's about having the private space where we can explore ideas and express ourselves freely. That is the absolute foundation of any functioning democracy.
So, if these common excuses for mass surveillance are full of holes, what does the article suggest is the path forward? Is there actually a different way we can build our digital world?
The solution, the article argues, is to make a conscious choice to move away from these centralized, secretive systems. The alternative? To embrace open-source platforms. This is software where the code is developed out in the open, through international collaboration, which lets anyone and everyone check it for security holes or hidden backdoors.
And this isn't just some fantasy idea. The article points to real-world examples, like the Moodle e-learning platform. It was built by just a tiny core team in Australia, but it works so well because it's a collaboration with over 70 different software houses all over the world. It proves that global cooperation really can build secure, successful, and open systems that completely bypass those old surveillance channels.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As our homes, our cities, and our entire lives get more and more smart and connected, this choice, the choice between centralized control and open collaboration, becomes more important than ever.
Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. Hey, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the Smart-EDU Hub channel so you'll be the first to see our new content. And don't forget, a link to the book that was referenced in the article can also be found in the description below. Stay smart with Smart-EDU Hub.